I am Reed, just a normal 27-year-old guy talking about building wealth and getting your life together in your 20s. What if I told you that upgrading your car, your apartment, or even just your daily coffee routine could quietly cost you millions of dollars over your lifetime? Honestly, that is something I truly, truly believe in, and it is a battle I find myself fighting quite often. Today, I wanted to really break down something we call lifestyle creep, how it just sneaks up on you without you even noticing, why it feels so incredibly normal to everyone, and how it can seriously sabotage and truly ruin your long-term financial freedom. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new here, we always talk about building wealth, but we talk about it intentionally and realistically. No get rich, quick schemes here. Just solid, gentle advice. And I really wanted to talk about a topic that I myself struggle with personally a lot, and it is something I've wrestled with endlessly in the past. I wanted to gently explain what it is and then give you guys some very real world examples of how I've messed up, how I've stumbled, and more importantly, I'll give you some real tangible numbers to show you where I could have been if only I hadn't fallen into the trap of lifestyle creep. So for those of you who might not be familiar with the term, lifestyle creep is essentially what happens when you start making more money. Maybe it is a well-deserved raise or a big promotion or even a shiny new job with a better salary. Instead of smartly investing that extra money, that wonderful new income, you start spending more. You might find yourself getting a slightly nicer apartment, buying more new clothes, eating out more frequently than you used to, upgrading your phone to the latest model, or even getting a fancier car. And it is not necessarily about the act of spending money itself. It is more about letting your spending habits rise much, much faster than your income can truly afford. And the most insidious part about it is that so many of us tell ourselves that we absolutely deserve it. We've worked incredibly hard, we tell ourselves, so we convince ourselves that we can totally afford this new luxury right now. But honestly, that mindset, while comforting in the moment, will slowly, almost imperceptibly, trade your freedom later in life for comfort right now. Now, please, I don't want you guys to get this misconstrued. Not even for a second, I absolutely 100% believe in paying yourself first. That is a core belief of mine. You know, if you get a new raise or you get that promotion you've been working so hard for and you want to buy yourself something genuinely nice, or you want to treat yourself to a truly special dinner, that is perfectly fine. For me, I am really into watches. You know, I always tell myself that when I get promoted, I am going to buy myself a truly beautiful watch, a keepsake. And that is okay. One thoughtful purchase like that is absolutely okay. But the danger, my friends, lies in slowly upgrading absolutely everything around you, especially when you're spending, or I should say your income, truly can to afford those new realities. So I wanted to give you guys a few real world examples. One will be a kind of general scenario, and then I'll share two specific examples where I personally messed up on this a lot. It is a humbling experience to share. So, you know, I don't make a huge amount of money, but let us just say for simplicity's sake, right, that you make $70,000 a year. All right, that would be pretty awesome. I wish I made that much money. I make closer to $30,000 a year, but let us just imagine for a moment. I make $70,000 a year, and then wonderful news, I get a raise to $85,000. So that is a $15,000 raise, which is just fantastic, right? Well, instead of saving and investing that entire $15,000 difference, that precious new money, I might decide to go buy a brand new car, or I might go get a fancy new couch, or I might move into a more expensive apartment. I'll probably start going out more, eating out, say, 3 times a week. Totally normal, right? Everyone else around you seems to be doing it. Other people in the office are doing it. It just feels like the thing to do. But let's zoom out for a second. Let us look at the bigger picture. If we were to invest just $500 a month of that raise into an index fund like VO, which historically returns an average of 8% a year, after 10 years, we would have around $91,000. After 20 years, we'd be looking at a substantial $275,000. And after 30 years, we would have over $680,000. That is almost $700,000. All of that just from keeping your lifestyle the same and investing the rest. It is incredible. Now, I know this is a lot easier said than done, and I am a living testament to that. For example, I struggled with this a lot, and honestly, I still struggle with it. Sometimes, you know, my thing when I was working at my full-time job was cars, right? Everyone around me loved cars. I still love cars to this day, and I was really big into the car scene. It was a huge part of my life. So what I did was, when I got my first promotion to full-time, when I transitioned from part-time to full-time, I was driving a 2016 Hyundai Veloster. I immediately, and I mean immediately, wanted to get something cooler, something faster, something more fun. So I went and I started looking for cars. And I ended up getting a 2017 Subaru WRX after taxes and everything. I think I paid around $26,000 for it. I financed it for 7 years, and my monthly payment was a hefty $443. This was around 2018, right? So I truly felt like the cool kid on the block. I was 18 years old, driving a Subaru WRX, and then, of course, I wanted to upgrade it even more. And I can tell you the exact number right now because I don't have it all tabulated, but if I add up the tuning, the custom wheels I had, all the cosmetic enhancements, the carbon fiber parts, the fancy bucket seats, I went absolutely full blown with this car, right? I probably put around $12,000 into that car from start to finish, just pouring money into it. So I went on my phone, right, and I found a picture from the 27th of June, 2019, from when my Subaru WRX was getting tuned at a place that had it on the dyno. If those of you who are not familiar, you put a car on the dyno, it tells you how much horsepower you are making, and then you get it tuned for optimal performance, right? Let us just say at that point, I had about $10,000 invested into the Subaru WRX. On that very day, the 27th of June, 2019, VOETF closed at $276 a share. So if I had taken that $10,000 and put it into VO back then, right now today, my $10,000 would be worth a remarkable $20,472. Now, let's say I wanted to be a bit more adventurous and put it into Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin on the 27th of June 2019 closed at around $11,000. If I had taken that same $10,000 and put it into Bitcoin, I would have a staggering $95,000 right now. And the worst part, after I did all of that to the Subaru, all those upgrades, I eventually sold it with all the upgrades still on it. And if for those of you who know about cars, you know this pain, when I sold it, I pretty much lost all my money on it completely. It was a real hit. But I still didn't learn my lesson. I was still caught in the cycle. I got another raise, sold the Subaru, and then I bought a BMW 340i, a 2017 model with the incredible B58 engine in it. That is what I truly wanted. So not only did I lose all that money on the Subaru, but then I went and bought the BMW, and of course I put a big turbo on it. I put on air suspension. I probably poured around $15,000 into that car too. But let's just use that $10,000 figure again. For simplicity's sake, it is easier to compare. So I have a picture of my BMW from the 24th of November, 2020. VO closed at $328 on that day. If I had put $10,000 into it, then I would have $16.77 right now. A decent return also. Bitcoin at that time closed at around $19,000. If I had invested that same $10,000, I would have about $55,000 right now. A truly significant sum. So what I am trying to say, the point I am trying to make is just how much potential was lost. And then, to put the cherry on top, when I eventually sold the BMW, I sold it with all the upgrades on it. And I lost all my money on that one too. It was another painful lesson. And when I am saying I lost all my money, I mean when I sold it, you simply don't make your money back on the upgrades, all that $15,000 I put into the car. I never saw that back. That never came back into my pocket because ironically, upgrades often devalue your car in the long run. It is a harsh truth. Anyway, my whole point is I have messed up big time when it comes to lifestyle creep. It has been a recurring theme. Every single time I get a raise, I almost automatically think about buying a new car because that is my vice, right? It is my weakness. I don't drink. I don't go out to bars much. I just really, really like cars. So every time I get paid, a part of me wants to buy a new car. And I really had to learn my lesson the hard way because once I started getting into this whole investing thing, I realized, man, I really wasted a lot of investing potential back then. You know, when I had the BMW, that was during the time of crypto, big boom. If I had just stopped upgrading the BMW and started investing my money, then I would have so much return right now. It would be absolutely insane. And I truly feel like I wasted a lot of time. A lot of potential for financial freedom by doing that. And like me and my girlfriend always talk about it, you can always look back and say, oh, I should have done this or I could have done that. So I don't hold myself to it too harshly now. You know, I don't depress myself over it because it is almost one of those things where it is like at the time I was having so much fun. You know, I had my fun with the car. I was doing what I thought was right. I didn't know much about investing back then. It wasn't on my radar. Now that I look back on it, I am like, man, I could have invested all that money. I could have bought a simple, reliable car, a beater car even, and I could have invested those tens of thousands of dollars that I poured into these materialistic cars, and I would probably have a $200,000 portfolio right now, which is a truly humbling thought, but I was thinking about that at the time, and I can hold myself to that past version of me. So if you guys have ever fallen into lifestyle creep, please hold yourself against it. Now. I look back on it, I think it has been a truly great learning lesson, a powerful education. I know how to treat money now. I know what to put my money into. And once again, it was just a learning lesson. We've all been there. You've got to learn from it, learn from your mistakes, and just get better in the future. That is all we can do. So, my whole point is it is still something I struggle with. It is a constant internal dialogue. I still think about, oh, if I get a raise, maybe I can buy this car or that car. The temptation is always there. But at the end of the day, you really don't want to keep inflating your lifestyle with every increase in income. And the reason lifestyle creep is so incredibly dangerous is because it doesn't feel like a bad decision at the time, not at all. Like I just told you guys with my car, when I was upgrading my cars, I genuinely felt like I was doing the right thing. I thought it was smart. I didn't think it was a bad decision. I was looking at investments. I didn't know anything about investing, so I truly thought I was doing the right thing for me. Obviously, I am not out here buying a yacht, but I am slowly upgrading my car. I am slowly upgrading my lifestyle in subtle ways. Maybe I am buying a new watch. Maybe I am getting some new technology, upgrading my PC components. Maybe you are doing the $5 coffee every day instead of making it at home because, hey, you got a raise, you can afford it now, or, you were looking at a $500 couch and now you are going to buy a $2,000 couch because why not? Or, you start adding more monthly subscriptions because you feel like you can afford it, or you start eating out more often. It all seems harmless. The problem is, over time, these small choices start to stack up and these expenses build upon each other to the point where you don't even realize it is happening because it happens so organically. So naturally, it just becomes part of your routine, and that is what truly costs you money in the long run. It is a silent killer of wealth. And over the years, the compound interest of short-term gratification really builds up into something massive. So what I want to talk about next is kind of what I would do, right? What I plan to do now instead of falling prey to lifestyle creep. And kind of like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am not telling you guys to not treat yourselves. That is not the message at all. If you watched a video previously, I talked about how I went, and it was me and my girlfriend's anniversary, and it was a very expensive dinner. But once again, it was a one-time thing. It was our anniversary, a special occasion. I felt like it was perfectly okay. When I get promoted, I do want to buy myself a nice watch, but it LL be one watch. A meaningful one that I buy my entire lifestyle 1T change. I just want to reward myself for working hard. It is a token of appreciation, but once again, I do it smartly. It be within my budget. I have already started budgeting for it, planning ahead, so you just have to do it smartly and not let things just compound over time without you even realizing it. So when it comes to spending, you just want to spend with intention. Every dollar should have a purpose. And here's how I personally fight lifestyle creep. These are my strategies. So when I get a raise, the very first thing I do is I increase my investments. That is my priority. In my opinion, the easiest way to do this is with your 401k. It is almost automatic. So for example, when I got my last raise, which was about 6 months ago, I was contributing 6% to my 401k. I got a 4% raise. And the very first thing I did was I took my 6% and I bumped it up to 7% in my 401k. It is not a lot, I know, but at least I am investing more now, and that is the key. So that would be my first thing that I would do without a doubt. And that is what I plan to do if I get my promotion or if I get a raise from here on out, is to automatically increase my investments. That is the first thing I do before I even consider buying anything else. Now, this one is a bit controversial, I'll admit, but if you can live as if you are actually living paycheck to paycheck, even if you are not truly struggling, that will help you out immensely in the long run. Because you almost automatically budget, it forces you to be mindful. I know not a lot of people like strict budgets, they feel restrictive, but if you can live almost like you are quote unquote broke and you can save that money or invest that money, it start to stack up a lot. It is a powerful trick. Next is I treat freedom.